Overall thoughts, Zach, on kind of how that shook out for you?
Found a way to win. In all three phases. Told the team there were times there it looked pretty dark. I think you guys would probably agree with me there. But we created the turnover to win the turnover battle in week 1. I don't know who did it, but somebody did. Okay, Jermaine, I think, was involved in that. And then the offense made a play when we needed to on 4th and 1. Probably the play I should have called on 4th and 1 the first time. And, they made it work. Trust me, that play was not perfect. But Joe and CJ found a way to make it work, and the protection held up. And then a rookie kicker, special teams stepped up. First game, I don't care how far that field goal is. That's a tense situation, and he was nails, as we expected him to be. I remember that coming up in draft night. Hey, somebody stood up on the table for him and said, "This guy's going to win us games," and here we are. 1-0.
Did Joe check to that, or was that the call along with?
It was 2 plays. 2 plays in the middle, and just get the one together.
Where was your heart when the ball was in the air, though?
Pretty good. I mean, that play has a high success rate for us. We hit Gio on the goal line against Cleveland. We hit Drew against Cleveland at their place last year on the 3rd and 1. That play's been good for us, and it came up big here.
What kind of confidence does that show in Joe that you gave him 2 plays and gave him full authority to go whichever one he wanted?
Yeah, I think Joe would tell you it's not a complex 2-play call there. But again, we trust Joe with everything that we're about. And so trust me, there's a lot higher responsibility on this plate than that exact situation there with those play calls. Joe does a lot for this offense, and that doesn't go on most of our staff.
Zach, a big reason why you were able to stay in the game was the defensive side of the ball, the pressure from Larry Ogunjobi specifically. Can you just talk a little bit about what you saw from those guys up front and how important they were?
Absolutely. That's why you invest in your defense right there. Those guys stepped up, and again, there's a lot of things we can clean up all over the map for a whole team. But when it mattered, those guys collapsed the pocket, put pressure on the quarterback. A lot of that time stems with the coverage as well. Those guys sticking coverage because they have a great. I got a lot of respect for the tight end I played in Conklin also. And those receivers are as good as any group. And then you got to defend countdown quick out of the backfield too. Kirk Cousins has been doing it at a high level for a long time. So, they had a really good plan. This is just a good old school NFL football game. 27-24. The Minnesota Vikings are going to win a lot of football games. That's a tough one out the gate. And we earned that win. They're going to win a lot of theirs too. I'm glad we got that one out of the way because that's a physical team. They cause all sorts of protection issues on the other side of the ball. They got a really good football team. They're going to win a lot of games.
That was really a big physical, speaking of physical, on the way you guys played Cook all day, and obviously the forced fumble in overtime. Can you talk about how physical you were with Cook?
Yeah, I mean, as many weapons as they have, it starts with Dalvin Cook, and it starts with that run game. And so our guys just swarm into the ball, sending a message early. They've got a good offensive line, but at the same time, we know it's really the first time they're playing against each other. So we had a veteran group out there, and we felt like we really had to go win that battle. And I missed what the total yardage was, but I know that for a good bit, we're doing a good job against the run game. They had a lot of passing yards, but again, it starts with taking away the run when you play Minnesota, and put us in a position to win.
The drives early in the first and a little bit in the second quarter looked to be more conservative, more quick. Did you make a change after that when the offense broke
No,
out?
we just couldn't get that first down. That's where the whole thing starts, we had a protection miscommunication early on that gave us a sack, I think, on the second drive. And just getting that first down gets you into a rhythm and lets you open it up a little bit more and complement the things you're doing. So early on, you're calling your base runs and you're waiting to complement them, but you got to get into a flow before you can do it. And so, that happens a lot of times in this league where you feel like you slow start and then the dam breaks a little bit and you get the offense that you want. And so we just knew we just had to be patient to stay the course there.
Zach, you had a lot of tough decisions today. I'm going to run through a couple of them with
Okay.
you. Obviously, the 4th down in your own end.
Yeah.
What were you thinking there, and why make that play?
Yeah, it's 4th and 1. I felt like we could go steal a victory right there. We're up 21-7, and if we can just bang home the momentum right there with the 4th and 1, I should have had a better play call. They loaded up that front pretty good, made some substitutions. Not our best call there. The players tried to execute it. We were outmanned pretty good at the point of attack. Tough call. Really, if we could do it backwards, I would have called the one we called later in the game there. And I was kicking myself because they got some momentum there, obviously. And then we zero blitzed them on 4th down. It was like, well, they made the play. Thielen ran a great choice route, it looked like, and that's going to be tough to defend if you get that extra tick in a second. He scored. Great players do that. That's going to happen. But I just told our team, we're going to be aggressive, man. We're going to go for it in 4th and 1, try to take the game, then we're going to be aggressive on defense, and try to send a message and end it right there, too. So I don't take back the decisions. Maybe my play call specifically, I would do it over again.
Then after that, I guess kind of late in the game, you had kind of the 3rd and 4, then the 4th and 3 combo there right near midfield. You run it on 3rd and then decide to punt. Was there any thought to go for it? Were you thinking maybe be more aggressive in that spot?
I thought we could get the stop, and that's just really where it started right there with that one. Because if you don't get that one, the game can be over. They're right there on field goal range, and that overrides that situation in that moment for me.
Joe and Jamar hooked it up today, and Jamar took some heat for his comments about the ball and the stripe and stuff. What were you surprised at all? Really, kind of a.
Oh, I tried to tell everybody that there was no concern on our end. You know, it's again, it was just it's a guy just working his way through training camp, and those weren't real games we were playing. And you get a chance to work out all the kinks with all these rookies and all these new players. The Jamar that we've seen, the confidence, the meetings, his approach. I would have been concerned if his approach wasn't the right way. If he was sleeping in meetings and showing up late and not doing that, then I would have been concerned. But it was the exact opposite. And that's really the standard that TB and T and Auden and Mike and Stanley have set in that room over the last couple of years. They've set that standard, and Troy Walters and Brad Kirkwood hammered home. And so when you get a rookie like Jamar that steps in, you got to live up to the standard immediately. And that's what he's done. And he had a great play, some game-changing plays in that game.
Throughout the summer, you talked about the offensive and the defensive line. What did you see from those units today?
That was a bloody game. It was on both sides of the ball, and they've invested in their defensive line. We've invested in our offensive line. We've invested, on the other side of the ball as well. And so it's going to be bloody. You got to stay the course. It doesn't always look pretty. They're going to win some. You're going to win some. But at the end of the day, you just got to find a way to win 27-24 and stick with it. And they cause a lot of protection. That's really where Kendricks and Harrison Smith come into play. Is their coaches on the field, and they know exactly what Zimmer wants, and they can communicate it on the fly, and they can stress your protections. And oftentimes you can't be right. I've seen some great teams that play those guys a lot. That they have some free runners coming in, and so that's why you can look at it as conservative at some points. It's just trying to be smart, and protect our quarterback and sticking with the run game because it was working, and just trying to manage the situation and put us in a position to win.
How is Joe? I mean, that was a point where he came off hobbling and holding his shoulder. What were you thinking in that moment? What did you hear about that?
He's going to be out there. I just tried to look away and pretend I didn't see anything. And the next series came up, and he ran out there. And some after game looked great. So I really don't know anything other than that, but he played pretty good there in crunch time.
There was no checking in with the trainers.
No. I make the trainers go back in the tunnel at that point.
Back to that 4th and 1. How much of that is faith in your offense to get it, and how much is it faith in your defense to have your back if it doesn't?
Yeah, we believe in all three of our phases, and that's just the message we send our team. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to we're not going to sit back and just hope that the other team gives it to us. We're going to go take it, and sometimes it's not going to look pretty, and sometimes people are going to be happy with the call. And each game's different, But today we just wanted to be aggressive. We're going to take the win in the first game and send a message for the rest of the season. I felt like we did that.
Coach, it seemed like you kind of came out with a little different style. You went under center a lot more than you did last year. Lou put on a lot of pressure, which he didn't do a lot of last year. I mean, you guys seem to kind of throw some wrinkles out there. Is that what you had kind of planned during the offseason to shake up a little bit?
Start with the defense. I got a lot of faith in those guys. When you add guys like Mike Hilton, Mike's one of the best pressure nickels, the best pressure nickel in the league. Von Bell can bring it, Justin can bring it. All of our linebackers are very disciplined in that regard. So you feel good about that. Again, each game is going to be a little bit different. On offense, we felt like we needed to get under center and see what front they were going to play and stick with the run game. And they changed up their fronts over the course of that game. A lot of the stuff they hadn't shown as much in the preseason, some of that odd stuff. We just had to kind of get our bearings straight and make sure we're underneath it. It took away a little bit of what we wanted to do in the past game under center, but we just had to adjust and keep going.
Have you ever had a more agonizing replay review wait than that one after the fumble at the end? I mean, it seems like whichever way that goes is probably going to determine the game.
Yeah, I just convinced myself that we were going to get it, and the ruling on the field was fumble. And just from what I was hearing upstairs was there wasn't enough to show any different than that. Maybe if it had gone the other way, it would have been a different story. But I just kept telling myself we're going to get it, and we're going to put ourselves in a position to be able to kick a field goal and win the game.
The toughest call all day might have been who got a game ball. I mean, who got the game ball?
Evan McPherson, rookie. Yeah, he's done it all training camp. Yeah, he's done it all preseason games. It's different when you're in week 1 against a really good football team. and you still got to hit that pressure packed kick there. And he did it, and there was a lot of guys that could have given it to, but Evan got it this time.
After everything you
Last
added,
question.
after everything you added to the offense this year, just how satisfying was it to see it click the way it did?
That might be one of the best defenses we're going to play all year. Best coordinated, best talent, best experience. They make things really, really hard on you. I'm glad that one's over, and our guys held up there. It's not always going to look pretty. You got to make some plays, which our guys did. Joe hung in there and made some big time throws. They might not appear to be big time throws there, but in the moment it was, based on the looks he had to manage. So again, that's, people ask if week one is different. Week one is different. As I walked off the field, I thought, it is different because we waited so long for this one opponent, and you get a chance to think and overthink and what if they do that, all that stuff. And now it's past. You just on that 6-day work week, and you got to go get ready for the Chicago Bears. And I'm thankful to turn the page and move on.
Okay.